Service, therapy, and emotional support dogs. There is a big difference between the three of those. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the difference, and I hope by the time you're done watching this video, you have a better understanding of the difference between the three dogs. So we're going to dig right into service dogs. So what is that? A service dog is a dog that has been trained to help an individual that has a medical diagnosis of a disability. So it's trained to do a task for that person to help mitigate their disability. So it can't just be, oh, I have anxiety, I have this really well-trained dog at home, and it helps me be more comfortable to go into public. So I'm just gonna go get a vest online, put it on it, and it's fine, I'll bring it into public. That's really not okay. For one, just because you're anxious, that doesn't mean you have a diagnosed disability of anxiety. There's a huge difference. So it needs to be a medical diagnosis of a disability. So type 1 diabetes, PTSD, epilepsy, autism, blindness, deafness. The list goes on, but you need to be medically diagnosed. You can't just be like, I have anxiety. We see that a lot. You can't do that. That's not a thing. You can't just be like, I have this, and then go get a dog and take it with you, okay? So you have a disability. We'll use type 1 diabetes for an example. So you're type 1 diabetic, and your service dog is trained to alert you before your blood sugar drops too low or fluctuates too high. They can also be trained to go get a medical pouch for you to check your blood sugar, or to go get a juice or a snack so that you can eat that to get your blood sugar up. They can be trained to get a bottle of water. Those dogs also have to be immaculate with their obedience, amazing in a car, exceptional in public. They can't be going in trying to say hi to everybody and doing all of these crazy different things. It takes a lot of time and training to get there. So as you can see, it's a dog, and it's called task trained to do something for you if you have a disability. There's all kinds of things the dogs can be trained to do, and those dogs are allowed to go into public places. So you'll see a service dog with an individual, and unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, there's a gray line in all of these kind of things, and I think that's where the world gets really confused, because there's nowhere that says a service dog has to be vested or even identified that it's a service dog. So what does that look like? A lot of our clients that we work with, they will go out with their service dogs in the heat of the summer, and they won't vest them because it can cause the dog to overheat. So if you are a public place, in grocery store, movie theater, restaurant, you're allowed to ask 2 questions that can be found on the ADA, and we'll get into those questions in another video. But there are ways for public places to identify these dogs if they're service dogs. So service dogs should be well trained, they should be task trained, and they're helping somebody with a disability. So that's the big thing. They're helping one person with a disability. They have access to public access places. This does not automatically qualify you to bring that dog to church, to your place of employment, and then you do still have to ask for accommodations and to different types of housing situations, like if you're renting or something like that. So there are things that you have to do, and we can get into other videos and talking about what that looks like. But for the sake of today's video, we'll stay on the difference between service, therapy, and emotional support dogs. So service dogs helping an individual with a disability mitigate their disability. So that's a service dog. You should see those dogs in public, well behaved. So therapy dog is going to be a dog that has gone through training, that has really good obedience. They typically love everybody. You wouldn't be doing therapy work with a dog that is standoffish and doesn't want to be petted by people. Those dogs are dogs that are trained, and they will either maybe work in school systems, courthouses, juvenile detention centers, assisted living centers, so they can work at places, so they're there all the time. Or I could have a therapy dog. For instance, I have a poodle that I do therapy work with, and then we go to places that ask us to come in. So we might be at a school system doing therapy work, or we might go to a nursing home or a hospital. So those dogs are very well trained. There are certification programs that you can go through. I carry insurance on her. And then we're asked to go in, and they just provide comfort and love. They just bring happiness, okay? but they are not going to restaurants that are not dog friendly, hotels that are not dog friendly. They're not flying on airplanes. They're not doing any of those things that a service dog can do. They're only going to dog friendly places or places that we've been asked to come and provide therapy. So hopefully that gives you the difference between the two, service and therapy dogs. And then you'll hear people talk about, I'm going to get an emotional support dog. And there was this big thing like a while ago that emotional support animals were flying on airplanes and they did away with that. So an emotional support dog, and there's emotional support animals as well, but we're just going to touch on the dog today. So emotional support dogs is no different than so I do suffer for I get anxious about things. And I have my personal dogs that live at my house. So I come home, I've had a long day, they're happy to see me, I sit down and I pet them and I feel better. That's all it is. It's just a dog that lives at your house, not just a dog, but it's your family pet that lives at your house and then makes you feel better. You might be working with a therapist and they might say this individual would benefit from having an emotional support animal, or so then you can use that for different housing situations. You're not going to bring an emotional support dog to a place that is not pet friendly. So it's not going to the grocery store with you. It's not flying on an airplane. It's not going on a bus. It's not just showing up and going to a restaurant with you because you will feel better if your dog's with you. Emotional support dogs or animals don't require to have any specialized training. They're literally just provide happiness and make you feel better about the world. So I'm hoping the difference between service dogs, therapy dogs, and emotional support dogs make a little bit more sense to you. All right, let me know in the comments if you guys have any other questions, anything you'd want me to touch on, go over with you guys. I'm happy to do that. So today, I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.